There are many magical things in this world. And one of the most magical things I know of is an empty theater. Standing alone on the stage, looking out into the darkened auditorium, is to place
yourself at the mercy of time, sound, and overwhelming memory. The performers, long gone. The music, we can recall. The dances, vanished footsteps in the ever-changing sands of time.
Tennis, anyone?
The art of theater is an ephemeral art. When the audience goes and the actors leave the stage, there is only memory. But in a darkened theater, alone on an empty stage, we can have them all back. The names that are theater history. The lovely Marilyn Miller, whom Ziegfeld called a breath of springtime. The exotic and vivacious Irene Bordoni. And the darling of Paris, the legendary Miss Danguette.
the greats, as well as the young and struggling hopefuls, all the players who have stepped on this stage and thrilled over 2 generations of theatergoers. And it all started 64 years ago on a windy, blustery night.
The year is 1911. William Howard Taft is in the White House, although next year he'll be replaced by Woodrow Wilson.
Women's skirts are getting shorter, but you still can't really see the ankle because they're all wearing high-button boots, and a good thing, too. Since a lot of the ladies are marching, demanding the right to vote.
Movies are getting to be a generally accepted form of entertainment. Mack Sennett is turning out his one-reelers over there in Brooklyn. Automobiles are getting more and more modern. The wooden body of the Model T Ford was replaced this year by an all-new metal body. But if you need a new fender now, I'm afraid it'll cost you $2.50. A young composer named Irving Berlin has written a snappy new tune called Alexander's Ragtime Band.
And a brand new theater is opening on Broadway tonight. March 20th, 1911. The Schubert's New Winter Garden. The wind is whipping down Broadway, and as the fashionably dressed audience hurries into the lavish new theater and settles down to look at the program, the lights dim, and the curtain rises on the very first show ever to play on this stage, Jerome Kern's La Belle Paris. The opening number was called Edinburgh Wriggle.
But man, set me bragging up, there is just one dance for me. Others are an imitation, not the genuine sensation that the Edinburgh Wriggle can give. What man, it's a hypnotizing, mesmerizing dance across the sea. Step you giggle, learn to wiggle through the Edinburgh Wriggle, then lie right down and deep. It's a hypnotizing, mesmerizing dance across the sea. Step you giggle, learn to wiggle through the Edinburgh Wriggle, then lie right down and hoot man, hoot man, hoot man, hot man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Winter Garden Scrapbook, the 29th annual celebration of the American Theater Wing's Tony Awards, presented by the League of New York Theaters and Producers and brought to you live from the stage of the Winter Garden Theater on Broadway in New York City, with some of the contemporary theater's most important stars portraying the old-time greats who have appeared on this stage in the last 64 years, starring Larry Blyden, Larry Kirk, Carol Lawrence, Michelle Lee, Bernadette Peters, George S. Irving, and Bobby Van. And special guest stars, Jack Albertson, Eve Arden, Fred Astaire, Milton Berle, Ray Bolger, Art Carney, Carol Channing, Clifton Davis, Buddy Ebsen, Joey Fay, Jack Haley, Valerie Harper, Julie Harris, Angela Lansbury, Jack Lemmon, Claiborne Little, Walter Matthau, Vincent Minnelli, Carl Reiner, Rosalind Russell, Alexis Smith, Joe Smith, Gene Stapleton, and Clyde Baldwin as Al Jolson. Brought to you by the many fine products of General Foods. By American Express Traveler's Checks, the American Express Card, and American Express Travel Service. American Express. Don't leave home without us.
Well, La Belle Paris got the theater open, but not much more than that. The theater critic on Leslie's Weekly, in his review of May 18th, 1911, referred to it as that travesty at the Winter Garden. So it only lasted a few months and was replaced in very rapid succession by the Review of Reviews and Vera Violetta. But there was a young singer in the chorus of La Belle Paris who so impressed the management with his personality that they hired him again to appear in Vera Violetta. This was the beginning of an association with the Winter Garden that was to last until the early 30s. The young man was Al Jolson, and with him in Vera Violetta was an 18-year-old beauty who had already attracted the attention of Broadway sophisticates. She was to become a legend in her own time. Her name, Miss Mae West.
All these productions had just been marking time in the life of the Winter Garden. It was not until July 22nd, 1912, that this theater got it all together. With the passing show of 1912, the first of what were to be 10 passing shows to play on this stage. They all had roughly the same format, lots of good-looking girls, fabulous scenery, special effects, and sketches that had the customers of that day rolling in the aisles. For example, here's the custom dock scene from the passing show of 1912.
Hello there! Hey, come over here. Hey, where did you come from?
I just come from the boat there.
Well, you got anything to declare?
I'm all right.
What do you mean you're all right?
I'm all right, I declare.
Say, you know who I am?
No, who are you?
I'm an inspector here, the son of Uncle Sam.
You're a son of your Uncle Sam, are
Yeah.
you? Then you must be your own cousin.
Say, you're pretty fresh now. Come on, get out your trunk.
What, are we going swimming?
No, not your swimming trunks. You got to pay duty on your trunks, so you can't stay in the country.
Well, I'd rather stay in the city. I don't like it in the country.
No, come on now, get out your trunk.
I haven't any.
Well, who has?
My boss, he's still on the boat there.
Come on now, what is your name?
Same like my father.
What is your father's name?
Same like mine.
What does your boss call you when he wants to pay you your salary?
He doesn't have to call me. I'm always the first one there.
Christian name?
Murphy.
Born?
Of course I was born.
No, when were you born?
Ah, about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, really? Where?
Ireland.
What part?
Olive me.
Say, do you have any relatives here?
Well, I got a twin brother 2 years older than I am.
You have a twin brother 2 years older than you are.
Well, 3 years older,
Oh,
but
okay. Business?
rotten.
No. What was your occupation? What was your occupation in the old country?
Ah, I was a jockey.
A jockey?
Yes.
Did you ride any winners?
No, only horses.
Only
Come
horses.
with me. Well, that's what they were laughing at in those days. 1912 passed, and 1913 brought its version of the passing show. The passing shows always had their own line of glorious girls who rivaled Ziegfeld's, and the Winter Garden extravaganzas always had a theme. For instance, along came 1914 and the beginning of the First World War in Europe, and American audiences heard for the first time, "It's a long, long way to Tipperary."
To Tipperary, to the sweetest boy I know. Goodbye, Piccadilly. Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, but 7 musical reviews come and go in this theater. And the one artist who is probably most closely identified with these early days at the Winter Garden, whose personality kept audiences coming back over and over again, even on Sundays, wanting to get closer and closer to him. The man they built the ramp for, so he could get right out there in the middle of the crowds who adored him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Al Jolson.
I give the world to be among the folks here. I even know my man is waiting for me, praying for me down by the Swanee. The folks up north will see me no more when I get to that Swanee shore. I love the old folks at home. Swanee, how I love you, my dear old Swanee. The folks up north won't see me no more when I get to that Swanee shore. Wait a minute, folks, wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet. When you croon a tune from the
Also from
heart.
Jolson's biggest hit during the early days, 1918. It was a show called Sinbad, and Jolson played Sinbad's sidekick, a fella called Inbad. And about that ramp, it stretched all the way from the stage through the audience to the back of the theater.
And so many beautiful showgirls passed up and down it that the Broadway wise guys nicknamed it the Bridge of Thighs.
Fresh from vaudeville, whose dancing feet started on this stage, the road to stardom, which was to lead to Lady Be Good, Funny Face, and the Bandwagon, and for him to movies, and a permanent place in the hearts of audiences everywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the passing show of 1918, Mr. Fred Astaire.
I was 19 years old when I first stepped onto the Winter Garden stage, but tonight I remember a lot of things about that show quite clearly. I remember a number my little sister Adele and I did. We were covered with feathers, dressed up as birds. It was called Twit, 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 You'd Better Do Your Little Bit, Bit, Bit. Yes, that was it. It was one of two numbers in the show which made reference to World War I, which seemed to be almost over. The other was called War Stamps, and no one remembers that one. I'll tell you what I do remember, though, a song called Smiles. It's become something of a classic. And of course, that ramp and those lovely girls, the glorious Jessie Reed, the beautiful Nita Naldi, who went on to become the very famous fan for the movies, and other newcomers, young and pretty hopefuls, just starting out. Those are nice memories. Now, tonight, the nominees for Best Supporting Actress in a Musical are Dee Dee Bridgewater for The Wiz, Susan Browning for Good Time Charlie, Zan Charisse, Gypsy, Tanya Elk for Where's Charlie, Kelly Garrett, The Night That Made America Famous, and Donna Theodore for Shenandoah. My best wishes and love to you all.
And the winner is Dee Dee Bridgewater for The Wiz. Go!
Say I hadn't made any kind of formal speech because I was so sure I wouldn't win. I just want to say thank you to all of those that voted for me, and thank you to Mr. Gilbert Moses, who saw fit to hire me, and Mr. Ken Harper, and Charlie Smalls, and everybody, and my mother and father, and thank you.
This is ABC.
Naturally, there was a passing show of 1919, and one of the sketches from that evening was called The Doctor Shop. At the turn of the century, Joe Smith and Charlie Dale formed a group called the Avon Comedy Four, which did funny sketches. And Joe Smith did one about a patient and a doctor. Audiences found this doctor bit so hilarious that little by little the doctor sketch grew, and the act finally became known as Dr. Cronkite and his only living patient.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do? Is this the office of Dr. Cronkite?
I'm his nurse.
Oh, is the doctor sick too?
No, I'm a trained nurse.
Oh, you do tricks. Well, listen, is the doctor in?
Yes, but he's very busy.
That's all right, I'll wait.
Here, have a chair.
That's all right, I'll take it when I leave. Listen, what does the doctor charge?
He charges $5 for the first visit, $3 for the second, and $1 for the third.
$1 for the third visit.
$1 for the third. Oh, here comes the doctor now.
Well, doctor, here I am again.
I never saw you before.
I'm here for the third time.
The third time.
So you're the doctor?
That's right, I'm the doctor.
I'm dubious.
I'm glad to know you, Mr. Dubious.
I'm still dubious.
Tell me you're married.
Yes and no.
What do you mean, yes and no?
I am, but I wish I wasn't.
You got any children?
I got 3 beautiful children, a boy and a girl.
What's the other one?
It's so young, who can tell?
Now, what's the matter?
Well, to tell you the truth, I went to another doctor. He told me I had snoo in my blood.
Snoo in your blood?
Yes, he told me I had snoo in my blood.
What's new?
Nothing much. What's new with you?
I'm gonna give you an examination. Take off the coat. Take off the coat, my boy. Take off the coat, my boy. Take off the coat.
The coat is off.
Now open your mouth. Come on, I got no patience.
I shouldn't be here either.
Open your mouth. Stick out the tongue. Fighter.
I can't. It's tied on the other end.
I seen better tongues in a butcher shop. Now I want you should open up your mouth wide and say fish.
You want I should open up my mouth wide and say fish?
Open wide and say fish.
Any particular kind of fish?
Just plain fish.
Herring.
Herring.
Well, what do you say, Doctor? Did you finish the diagnosis?
Yes. Put on the coat. Put on the coat, my boy.
Doctor, thank you very much for the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Listen, what's wrong with me?
You need eyeglasses.
I need eyeglasses.
Eyeglasses.
Well, how much do I owe you?
$10.
$10?
$10.
$10 for what?
$10 for my advice.
Here's $2. Take my advice. Take it.
Wait a minute, you came in here and you bothered.
That, one more word, you'll get $1.
But...
That's the word, there's the dollar.
But...
For the remarkable success of Dr. Cronkite was the comedy team of Smith and Dale. It is an enormous thrill for me to introduce the original, only living patient at age 91, Mr. Joe Smith.
Thank you, you beautiful people. The nominees for the Best Supporting Actress in a Broadway Play are Linda Miller for Black Picture Show, Rita Moreno for The Ritz, Geraldine Page for Absurd Person Singular, Carol Shelley, Absurd Person Singular, Elizabeth Spriggs for London Assurance, and Frances Sternhagen for Equus. And the winner is Rita Moreno for The Ritz.
Well, I mean, Rita Moreno is thrilled, but Rosa Dolores Alverio from Humacao, Puerto Rico is undone. We've been told to make this fast, and I'll be very brief. Terrence McNally, oh, I can't believe it. Robert Drivers, I can't thank you for being talented because somehow that seems patronizing to thank someone for being talented. Therefore, I just want to say that I'm very happy that our paths have crossed. Finally, I'd like to say, Miss Supporting Actress, whoever you might have been, I'm a little bit regretful because I am the leading lady of the Ritz. I'm not a supporting actress. I mean, if it was up to Googie Gomez, who is the character I play in The Ritz, she would say, "Listen, honey, the only thing I support in that show is my bids."
The very next year brought the 20s to Broadway and Eddie Cantor to the stage of the Winter Garden. In 1921, our old friends Smith and Dale were back in a show called Whirl of New York, and they played two lawyers called I Catch 'Em and You Cheat 'Em. Thank you very much. The next 5 years rolled by with some 5 revues holding forth on this stage, and then in 1926 came a show called Gay Paris. In those days, the musical score was frequently the work of several composers, each of whom contributed one or more tunes. And Gay Paris was blessed with a song by Jimmy McHugh, which we are still singing today.
I can't believe that you're in love with me.
Your eyes of blue, your kisses too, I never knew what they could do. I can't believe that you're in love with me. You're telling everyone you know I'm on your mind each place you go. They can't believe that you're in love with me. I have always placed you far above me. I just can't imagine that you love me. But after all is said and done, to think that I'm the lucky one, I can't believe that you're in love with me. Is said and done, to think that I'm the lucky one, I can't believe that you're in love with me.
As the Tin Woodman in The Wizard of Oz, may I present from the 1926 production of Gay Paris, Mr. Jack Haley.
What memories this brings back. You know, ladies and gentlemen, the American musical has always been a reflection of its time, and the 20s were pure escapism. The First World War had turned our heads in the direction of Europe. A whole generation of American writers were coming to history in Paris, and the theater reflected this passion for things French. And those dancers, lovely girls in beautiful costumes, with not a care in the world. Well, the world of dance has certainly changed, as you can see from this impressive list of nominees for the best choreographer. All right, Gala champion for Mack Mabel, George Faison for The Wiz, Donald McHale for Dr. Jazz, Margot Sappington for Where's Charlie, Robert Tucker for Shenandoah, and Joel Swick for Dance With Me. And the winner is George Faison for The Wiz.
What did you say? Thank you so very much.
On January 7th, 1925, Al Jolson opened in what was to be his last show on the stage. The musical was Big Boy, the big Jolson song hit.
If you knew Susie like I know Susie, oh, 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 what a girl.
California, here he comes, right back where he started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the spring.
The next few years had the usual quota of reviews, and then came 1929, and with it the stock market crash. Lots of businesses shut their doors, and the Winter Garden shut its doors too. And for a while, there was no passing show, no artists and models, no chorus lines with bright-eyed young hopefuls. The ramp through the center of the house had gone too. But something new had been added, projection equipment. And the doors swung wide again, not for live actors, but for the movies. What was the first motion picture to play at the newly reopened Winter Garden? Somehow it seemed right that Al Jolson should still be here.
Gypsy, I'm a-going to fall, and I'm sitting on top of the world. I'm singing a song, yes, singing a song. Come on, give me all you got now. I'm sitting on top of the world. I'm going along, yes, going along, and I'm with the blues of the world. I'm singing a song, yes, singing a song. Glory, hallelujah, I just stole a fire skirt, get ready to call. Just like a Humpty Dumpty, da-da-da, I'm going up the fall, and I'm sitting on top of the world. I'm going along, long, long, going along. Baby, oh, Molly, with you in my arms, honey, I'm sitting right on top of the world.
The motion picture period of the Winter Garden's history lasted until 1933, and then back came the live actors. Mrs. Florence Ziegfeld produced a revival of the Follies, and the cast in that one production alone would make you dizzy. For instance, the lovely Fanny Bryce removed her pearls and feather boa and crossed her eyes, and we had baby Snooks. And there was a young newcomer who made quite an impression, Eve Arden. And then, on January the 4th, 1934, the curtain rose on the Ziegfeld Follies with those stunning showgirls and those marvelous songs. I like the likes of you. I like the things you do. I mean, I like the likes of you. I like your eyes of blue. I think they're blue, don't you? I mean, I like your eyes of blue. Oh, dear, if I could only say what I mean. I mean, if I could mean what I say. I mean to say that I mean to say. Oh, I like the likes of you. Your looks are pure deluxe. Looks like I like the likes of you.
What is there to say, and what is there to do? The dream I've been seeking has, practically speaking, come true. What is there to say, and how will I pull through? I knew in a moment contentment and home meant just you. You are so lovable, so
unforgivable. You're made to marvel at. Words to that effect. So, what is there to say? And what is there to do? My heart's in a deadlock. I'd even face wedlock with
From the show were the revivals of the Maxis and the Shim Sham. They were introduced by Vilma Epson and her dancing brother, ladies and gentlemen, from the Ziegfeld Follies of 1934 and several things since, Mr. Buddy Epson.
Thank you. There were some marvelous songs from that production of the Follies. Wagon Wheels. And do you remember I'm Heading for the Last Roundup? Yeah, that's it. I bet most of you probably thought that they came from a cowboy movie. There was one thing about the Follies, though. They always had something for everyone. And lovely ladies with big personalities. But then the American musical theater has always been blessed with lovely ladies with big personalities. And the current smash Broadway season is no exception. The nominees for the Best Actress in a Musical are Lola Falana, Dr. Jazz, Angela Lansbury, Gypsy, Bernadette Peters, Mack Mabel, and Ryan King, Good Time Charlie.
And the winner is Angela Lansbury.
You've no idea what this means. I just never thought it could happen again. I must express my gratitude to Arthur Lawrence, Steve Sondheim, Julie Stein, and Miss Ethel Merman for creating one of the most memorable shows in Broadway history in 1959, and for making it possible for us to recreate Gypsy in 1974. Thank you.
Just before Labor Day that same year, another review opened called Life Begins at 8:40 with Bert Lahr and dancers Ray Bolger and Dixie Dunbar. And then it was 1935, and Beatrice Lillie was telling the jokes, and beautiful Ethel Waters was singing the Schwartz and Dietz score of At Home Abroad. The song cover tells us this was a Vincent Minnelli production, and that the talented Mr. Minnelli had not only directed the show, he had designed the settings and costumes as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vincent Minnelli.
As Valerie Harper said at the beginning of this evening, there's something magical about an empty theater. It is certainly so for the designer. One reads a script and looks at the stage, and right away one's mind is racing away. And when you're handed a stage like this one, and told you have 50, count 'em, 50 lovely ladies to costume, well, it's a heady and satisfying experience. I should love to present the award this evening to some of my colleagues whose designs have contributed so substantially to the delights of the current Broadway season. The nominees for Best Scenic Designer are Scott Jolson, Dance With Me. Tanya Moiseyevich, The Misanthrope. William Rittman, God's Favorite. Ruban Teratunium, Good Time Charlie. Carl Tom's Sherlock Holmes. Robin Wagner, Mack and Mabel.
And the winner is Carl Toms for Sherlock Holmes.
Thank you very much, everyone, and I would like to thank everyone who voted for me, and I'm very, very honored to get this American award, being a foreigner, and I would just also like to take this opportunity to thank all the technicians who won it for me. Thank you very much.
The multi-talented Mr. Minnelli was back again the next year designing the sets and the costumes for the Ziegfeld Follies of 1936. Eve Arden now had featured billing and a charming duet she sang with another performer who was gaining quite a reputation as a comedian, Mr. Bob Hope. From the Ziegfeld Follies of 1936, I've flown around the world in a plane. I've settled revolutions in Spain. The North Pole I have charted, but I can't get started with you.
Around the golf course, I'm under par, and all the movies want me to star. I've got a house, a showplace, but I get no place with you.
So supreme, lyrics I write for you.
Scheme just for the sight of you.
Dream both day and night of you. But what good does it do?
I've sold my kisses at a bazaar,
And after me they've named a cigar. But you've got me downhearted, 'cause I can't get started with you. From the Ziegfeld Follies of 1934 and 36, our lovely feature performer, Miss Eve Arden.
Actually, I never minded being called a supporting player, especially in such good company as Buddy Ebsen and Bob Hope. We all had to start somewhere. But it's an interesting story, really. As long as Mr. Ziegfeld was alive, no one was ever billed above the title in the Ziegfeld Follies, not even the star of the show. The words Ziegfeld Follies brought him into the theater, and then it was up to the actors to keep him there. And it's not really all that different now, as witness these talented folks who've been nominated for the Best Supporting Actor in a Musical. Tom Aldridge for Where's Charlie, John Bottoms for Dance With Me, Doug Henning for The Magic Show, Gilbert Price for The Night That Made America Famous, Ted Ross for The Whiz, Richard B. Shull for Good Time Charlie.
And the winner is? The winner is Ted Ross for The Whiz.
a lot of bumping. It's a lot of thinking. Time doesn't allow me to make all the individual things. So to all of you out there, and you do know who you are, to a fantastic cast, Mr. Harper for the opportunity, Mr. Holder for the revelations, Charlie Smalls' words and music, everybody, the crew, beautiful cast, my folks, my family, and my friends. I'd like to say that if it's true that the children of God are truly the flowers of the earth, it's been a ball to stroll in your garden. Thank you.
The American Theater Wing's 1975 Tony Awards is being brought to you by American Express Traveler's Checks and American Express Card and the American Express Travel Service. American Express, don't leave home without us. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I apologize
Thank you.
about the
We are
hat.
here to-
Excuse me for wearing the hat, but I'm in the middle of Neil Simon's The
We're behind.
Sunshine Boys, and they've shaven my
We're here-
head.
Look,
and
are
I'm
you
too
through
embarrassed.
talking about the head? Now
Through.
we're here. You do 8 minutes on Hello. He's a terrific
Shoot.
item. We're here to talk about Neil Simon. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Simon is probably the most successful playwright in the history of drama. Nobody has ever gotten better notices more consistently, and certainly nobody has written plays that have made so much money. Not even Shakespeare. Well, for example, Shakespeare's Titus Andronicus, $28 worldwide. The stuff that Neil didn't write did better than that.
Neil Simon's a very generous artist. Through the medium of a prodigious talent, he bestows upon the world the gifts of laughter and joy. He transforms his observations into skillful creations that mourn and celebrate our common humanity. He permits us to escape into the reality of our own shortcomings.
Neil Simon is today's Moliere and Phaedo rolled into one.
He illuminates the common man and the commonplace.
His prose is the poetry of every man.
Neil has said that writing plays is the most fun in the world. Of course, he was speaking subjectively of the joy that he gets from his craft.
Speaking subjectively, I think Neil Simon's plays are the best fun in the world for actors.
Well, speaking objectively for both of us, I think they're the most fun for everybody. At any rate, we have been given the honor of presenting tonight's special Tony Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, the author of this entire introduction, Mr. Neil Simon.
Go write funny for these guys. If this is in effect for the 14 plays and musicals that I've written, I would like to share it with all of those people that I've written it with. I have the list here. I won't name them all by names, but there were 10 different producers, 8 directors, 144 actors and dancers, 144 understudies, and 6,126 stagehands. Mostly, I would like to share this with the girls that I share my life with, my beautiful daughters, Ellen and Nancy, and my lovely wife, Marcia.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4-time Tony winner, Miss Julie Harris.
Thank you. I have been asked to explain that the candidates for the American Theatre Wing's Tony Awards were nominated by a committee whose joint membership has seen every performance which opened on Broadway this season. 451 voters certify that they have seen every performance or production in each category in which they voted, and the accounting firm of Lutz & Carr have tabulated the results. Now, the Tony Award, created by the American Theatre Wing in honor of Antoinette Perry to reward the achievement of excellence in the theater, is only part of the Wing's activities. It is one of the theater's longest-running nonprofit organizations of service to the community. The Wing is a major supporter of Saturday Theater for Children, a public schools program which brings live theater to almost 1 million youngsters, our audience for tomorrow's theater. Then there is Total Theater, an annual seminar program for students and professionals with some of the theater's most distinguished members presiding. The Wing's scholarship and grant program continues, and in the tradition of the Stage Door Canteen, the Wing provides funds for Broadway and other professional productions to be brought to veterans, hospitals, and institutions. The American Theatre Wing can indeed be proud of its distinguished role in our theatrical community. Thank you.
Little old lady full of grace, with a smile on your face.
Do you remember that song? It was written by Hoagie Carmichael and Stanley Adams and came from The Show Is On, which opened on Christmas night, 1936. It was the big hit song from that show, which starred Bert Lahr and Beatrice Lillie and kept this stage busy for 1 solid year.
Little old lady, time for tea. Here's a kiss, 2 or 3. You're just like that little old lady I hold dear to me.
And then the fabulous Cole Porter came back to the Winter Garden. And the song that stopped the show in 1938 and is still an all-time favorite, which I should be singing.
Is it an earthquake or is it a shock? Is it the good turtle soup or merely the mock? Is it a cocktail, this feeling of joy? Or is what I feel the real McCoy? Is it for all time or only a lot? Is it Granada icy or only Asbury Park? Is it a fancy not worth dreaming of? Or is it at long last love?
Then came 1938, and a whirlwind hit the Winter Garden that was to blow it out of here for the next 6 years in various and sundry shapes. That tornado was called Hellzapoppin', and the various and sundry shapes were sons of fun and laughing room only. So, we will glide right along to 1943 and the Ziegfeld Follies.
A whole bunch of lovely people were in the Ziegfeld Follies of 1943, and they went on to all sorts of wonder and glory. Arthur Treacher, for instance, busy frying up all those fish and chips everywhere. Ben Yost's Vikings went on to discover Greenland, I think it was. Then, of course, there was Milton Berle, the only artist ever to be starred over the title of the Ziegfeld Follies, who has gone on, and indeed is here with us this evening, prepared to go on and on. All right.
Thank you. Good, please don't.
I appreciate it. Don't applaud too loud. This is an old building. And we have a very, very long... God, I got so much gas and being followed by Arabs. I'm going to get the show. The show is very long. It's very long. Let me get right to my presentation of the awards. Really, I am out here on behalf of the Tonys to award one of the three awards, musical awards, for the best music and lyrics. Oh, really? Yeah, you are? No? We'll read them. Okay. Yeah. The nominees for best score of a Broadway musical are Letter for Queen Victoria, I'm sorry. Letter for Queen Victoria, music and lyrics by Alan Lloyd. Shenandoah, music by Gary Geld, lyrics by Peter Udell. The Lieutenant, music and lyrics, Gene Curti, Nitra Schaffman, and Chuck Strand. The Wiz, music and lyrics by Charlie Smalls. And now I shall open the envelope. And the winner is The Wiz, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie Smalls. Don't worry, it's a commercial.
The next year was 1944, and as you can see from the cover of this playbill, the country was still at war, and the audiences were being urged to buy war bonds. The show that year was Mexican Hayride. The star, Bobby Clark. The score was by Cole Porter, and the producer was the flamboyant Michael Todd. Remember...
I love you, hums the April breeze. I love you, echoes the hills. I love you, the golden dawn agrees, as once more she sees daffodils in spring again. Start to sing again that old melody. I love you. That's the song of songs, and it all belongs to you and me, and it all belongs to you.
4 years later, in 1948, the war was over now. The country was enjoying its prosperity. Lots of things were different. And on the stage of the Winter Garden, well, the name of the show was As the Girls Go. That's the part that was different, because the star was Bobby Clark, the producer, Michael Todd, and the song, nobody's heart but mine can beat like a hammer when you're around. Skip just a little, then pound and pound. Nobody's heart but mine. And if you see me acting dreamy, as I sometimes do, don't wake that dream. Just make that dream a part of you. I'm not a clinging vine, but I'm gonna see you make no mistake. If hearts are broken, you've got to break. Nobody's heart, mine.
show was called Alive and Kickin', and there was a man in it who's still alive and kicking, Mr. Carl Reiner.
I have great fondness for this theater because it was at this theater, the Winter Garden, 25 years ago that I used the first and the smallest in a series of brilliantly crafted and impossible to detect toupees. This is the 24th version. Also here I got to know and love one of the most beloved people in all of show business, Mr. David Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, the nominees for the best book of a Broadway musical are Mack Mabel, Michael Stewart, Shenandoah, James Lee Barrett, Peter Udell, Philip Rose, The Lieutenant, Gene Curti, Nitra Scharfman, Chuck Strand, The Wiz, William F. Brown, and the winner is Shenandoah, James Lee Barrett, Peter Udell, and Philip Rose.
I would like to say, first of all, that I don't really believe it.
Say which one you are because America doesn't know.
James Lee Barrett. I would like to thank Philip Rose for sensitive and tasteful direction. I would naturally like to thank everyone who gave us this award, who voted for us, and I would like to thank particularly Mr. Walter Kerr of the New York Times and Mr. Kevin Thomas of the Boston Globe for recognizing something of merit in something old and something American. Thank you very much.
In addition, Mr. Baird would also like to thank Kevin Kelly. Both of them.
I'd like to thank my partner, Gary Geld, for writing such beautiful music. Thank you.
In 1951, Johnny Mercer sat down to write the songs to Top Banana. One of the first things he had to do was explain just what a top banana is. It's a burlesque term, of course, meaning head comic. Well, for instance...
Farmer's daughter and take it in the kisser with a soda water. If you wanna be a burlesque comic, it's basic training for you to take a punch. Woo! You gotta roll your eyes and make a funny face. Take it, Holland, it must be the place. If you wanna be a top banana, you gotta start from the bottom. Where are you going? Get off! Hold it. What's the matter? What's the matter?
Take a look in this mirror.
Yeah?
What do you see?
I see me.
Oh, thank God, I thought it was me.
Wow. If you wanna be a top banana.
Hold it. What happened?
What happened, my good man? What happened? I was living the life of Riley. Well, Riley came home. Get on. Do it again. Hey, man, if the broad is your own, hold it. It's me.
Take my eyes, take my lips, take my arms.
Sure, the best part you keep for yourself.
Wait a minute. Aren't you Joey Faye?
I'm Joey Faye.
I heard about your lovemaking.
Oh, it's nothing.
That's what I heard.
Get up! If the road is your own mother, she's a straight man who wanna know her part. She raised you from an infant and she's kind and sweet. But does she know the way to get the flu? Go straight. If you wanna be a top banana, you gotta start from the bottom. Hold it, please. If you wanna be a top banana, you gotta hold it. Hey, who are you?
I'm a lawyer. I'm taking my case to court. Please.
If you wanna be a hold it!
Where are you taking me?
What do you mean?
Come here. You want to have your palm read?
Palm read?
All right, go ahead.
If be a top banana. You go, hey, 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 hey! Where are you going now?
I'm taking my case to a higher court.
Get on! Hey, if the broad is your own.
You miserable, I have never been. I will not put up with it.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
What's the matter?
Yeah.
Read that.
Sure. Oh, come on. Hey, if the broad is your own.
You get it now. Hold it.
What happened?
I lost my suit.
If you want to be a top banana, you gotta start from the bottom.
And now one of the stars of Top Banana, Jack Albertson.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That really was a great bunch of bananas. And I must tell you that when we opened Top Banana here at the Winter Garden, I was one of the bunch. I was the second banana. And of course, the star of that show was the one and only, and still is the only top banana in my book, Phil Silvers, who won the Tony Award as Best Actor in a Musical that season. And now, it's my great pleasure to announce the nominees for Best Musical. And they are Mack Mabel, produced by David Merrick; Shenandoah, produced by Philip Rose and Gloria and Louis K. Scher; The Lieutenant, produced by Joseph S. Kucheva and Sparta J. Beadle; and The Wiz, produced by Ken Harper. And the winner is, let's get it in a minute here, upside down. The winner is The Wiz.
As the writer of the book, I'd like to make a special thanks to Miss Stephanie Mills for our Dorothy, and Mr. Ken Harper, the producer.
Thank you, Bill. I'd like to thank, first of all, Frank L. Baum, who wrote The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, because it's lasted from the year 1900 until 1975. I'd like to thank Bill Brown for his book, Charlie Smalls, who's ill this evening, for the marvelous lyrics and music. And I'd like to thank Jeffrey Holder for his costume designs and his brilliant direction. It's not very easy to make a 300-pound witch disappear, and Jeffrey's done that for us. I'd like to thank the star of our show, Stephanie Mills, the cast, the crew, George Faison for his choreography, Theron Musser for a lighting design, and the sets by Tom John. And I'd like to thank 20th Century Fox for backing my dream and for hanging in there when the going got rough, and they put more money up for us, and that's why we're here today, and to thank the audiences that have been coming to see The Wiz. Thank you.
Stay tuned for the 1975 Tony Awards presentation with Rosalind Russell, Carol Channing, Ray Bolger, Gene Stapleton, Clavon Little, Alexis Smith, Angela Lansbury, Clifton Davis, and Valerie Harper after station identification.
President Ford on AM America tomorrow morning at 7 on ABC.
Then along came one of those theatrical blockbusters, Wonderful Town, with a score by Leonard Bernstein, lyrics by Comden and Green. Director George Abbott and our own choreographer Donald Sadler put their two stars through a frantic pace that delighted audiences. But there was one quiet moment which we all remember, when Rosalind Russell and Edie Adams, as the two sisters, put their heads together and shared their homesickness.
Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why did I ever leave Ohio? Why did I wander to find what lies yonder when life was so cozy at home?
and the star of Wonderful Town, the Tony winner that year, Miss Rosalind Russell.
Isn't music seductive? I listen to that song, and suddenly it's 1953, and we're all at the Winter Garden doing that conga line 8 times a week. And well into 1954, let me tell you. We had such a good time, it seemed almost unfair to accept a salary. And then when we won the Tony, my cup runneth over. And so I know how you nominees feel tonight, and I won't keep you in suspense a moment longer. The nominees for the Best Actor in a Musical are John Cullum, Shenandoah; Joel Grey, Good Time Charlie; Raul Julia, Where's Charlie; Eddie Mecca, The Lieutenant; and Robert Preston, Mack and Mabel.
And the winner is John Cullum, Shenandoah.
One of the criticisms that we've had about Shenandoah is that it's old-fashioned, but everybody seems to be enjoying the Tony Awards. Seriously, I wouldn't be here if our show didn't have good material, Shenandoah, which it does, and if the music wasn't good, which it is, and if I didn't have a good role to play, which I do. And I thank the people who voted for me, but I want to thank especially someone who hasn't been mentioned, as the other people who participated in our production have, and that's Phil Rose, our producer-director, whose faith in the cast and in the people who put it together and the material has made it possible for me to be here tonight. Thank you, Phil.
What is there to say about Peter Pan? It is all of our childhood fantasies come true. Although I must tell you that when I was a kid and I thought about Captain Hook, it was never exactly this way.
To the plank! Who's the wiliest swine in the world? Captain Hook. Oh, Captain Hook. Thank you. Who's the dirtiest dog in this wonderful world? Captain Hook. Captain Hook. Captain of villainy, murder and loot, eager to kill any who say that my hook isn't cute. I think it's cute. Who's the slimiest rat in the pack? Captain Hook. And I'm proud. Captain Hook. Who's unlovable, who's unlivable, whose existence is just unforgivable, who would stoop to the cheapest and lowest of bricks in the book. What a prize, what a joy, Mrs. Hook's little baby boy, the scourge of the sea, just little old me. Dad, Dad, whoa.
Good evening. Well, isn't this all just marvelous? All these dazzling successes in the Winter Garden that you're hearing about tonight. Well, I am here as a change of pace, so to speak. You see, I have this thing about certain theaters in New York. Now, I love the National because that's where we played Lendoneer. And then the old Ziegfeld was Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. And then the Eugene O'Neill was Showgirl. And then the dear old St. James was Hello, Dolly. And wasn't that a lovely theater? Yes. And then... And then we played Lorelei in the fabulous Palace Theater. But the Winter Garden, well, every time that I get in the vicinity of the Winter Garden, I get what is known as, well, it's called hives is what it is that I get. You see, I too was played the Winter Garden in 1955 in a musical comedy called The Vamp. Yeah, well, as you can see right here, there were many mistakes made in The Vamp, but as the adage goes, the major mistake was taking the curtain up. Well, as I look over these memorable walls in the glorious Winter Garden, the nicest thing that comes to my mind out of the entire mess was certain actors who were involved, like Bibby Osterwald and Will Geer. I mean, we truly clung to one another. I mean, we really supported each other. Well, that's what I came out here to tell you. The nominees for the Best Supporting Actor in a Play are Larry Blyden for Absurd Person Singular, Leonard Fry for The National Health, Frank Langella for Seascape, Philip Locke for Sherlock Holmes, George Rose for My Fat Friend, Dick Anthony Williams for Black Picture Show. And the winner is Frank Langella for Seascape.
Thank you to each and every person who voted for me. You've made me very, very happy. I've never wanted to be anything else but an actor. I'm very proud of my contribution to Seascape, and I'm very, very proud to be a member of this profession. Thank you.
The next year, there was a charming musical about an Amish community called Plain Fancy. Remember that lovely song? Young and foolish, why is it wrong to be young and foolish? We haven't long to be. Soon enough, the carefree days, the sunlit days go by. Soon enough, the bluebird has to fly. We were foolish. One day we fell in love. Now we wonder, what were we dreaming of? Smiling in the sunlight, laughing in the light. I wish that we were young and foolish again. Tonight, it all began. I saw you and the world went away. Tonight, there's only you tonight. What you are, what you do, what you say.
Today, all day, I had the feeling a miracle would happen. I know now I was right, for here you are, and what was just a world is a star tonight.
I'm gonna learn to read and write. I'm gonna see what there is to see. So if you go from nowhere on the road to somewhere and you meet anyone, you know it's me. I'm gonna move from place to place and find a house with a golden stair. And if that house is red and has a big brass bed, I'm living there.
Once upon a time, a girl with moonlight in her eyes, put her hand in mine and said she loved me so. But that was once upon a time, very long ago. How the breeze ruffled through her hair, how we always laughed as though tomorrow wasn't there. We were young and didn't have a care. Where did it go? Once upon a time, the world was sweeter than we knew. Everything was ours. How happy we were then. But somehow, once upon a time, never comes again.
And now the star of All-American, Mr. Ray Bolger.
Thank you. Being here on this Winter Garden stage has a very special meaning for me because this is where it all started. I think almost every creative person can recall a moment in his life when it all came together. And he said, that's it. That's what I want to do. And that happened for me Sunday night. One Sunday night right out there as a member of a hypnotized audience watching the great Al Jolson sing. Oh, that man was more than a performer. He was a genius. He would take several thousand strangers, and in a very short time, he molded them into a single enchanted whole. It was a privilege to watch that man work, and that's why I became a part of this wonderful profession, and I have never regretted being a part of it. Imagine being able to work with the talents and have graced this stage. This theater, the writers, the composers, the directors, and not only just this theater, but the theater as an institution. I am proud to present the award to the best director of a Broadway musical. The nominees are Gower Champion for Mack and Mabel, Grover Dale for The Magic Show, Jeffrey Holder for The Wiz, and Arthur Lawrence for Gypsy. And now, the winner is Jeffrey Holder for The Wiz.
will be very brief. All I would like to say is, try making something like that out of a cola nut.
Good evening. I'm Jean Stapleton, and I feel like I've come home too. I was here. I was here in 1959 in Juneau with Shirley Booth and Melvin Douglas, and last in Funny Girl with Barbara Streisand. But I'm here to talk about actors, marvelous actors, to present the Tony Award for the best performance by an actor in a Broadway play. The nominees are Jim Dale for Scapino, Peter Firth for Equus, Henry Fonda for Clarence Darrow, Ben Gazzara for Huey and Duet, John Connie and Winston Shona for Sizwe Bonzi is Dead and The Island, John Wood for Sherlock Holmes. And the winners are John Connie and Winston Shona for Sizwe Bonzi is Dead and The Island.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.
Aren't actors marvelous? And now it's my added pleasure to present the 1970 Tony Award winner for Best Actor in a Musical, the star of All Over Town, Cleavon Little.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to present this evening an award to the Best Actress in a Broadway Play. And the nominees are Elizabeth Ashley for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Ellen Burstyn for Same Time Next Year, Diana Rigg for The Misanthrope, Maggie Smith for Private Lives, and Liv Ullman, A Doll's House. And the winner is Ellen Burstyn for Same Time Next Year.
I guess this is what it means to be twice blessed. My only regret is that the envelope didn't say the winners are. As anybody knows who's seen the show, it's a duet. And I don't see how you can separate the hands of the musicians here, so I'd like to accept this in the name of Charles Grodin, my magnificent partner.
Coax the blues right out of the horn, man. You charge your hearts right off of the horn, man. You got the banjos drumming and clunking out of tune to beat the band. The whole plantation's humming since you brought Dixie back to Dixieland. You make the cotton easy to pick, man. You give my old mint julep a kick, man. You make the old magnolia tree blossom at the mention of your name. Your special fascinational proved to be inspirational. We think you're just sensational.
also won the Tony in this very theater for Maine, didn't you?
Oh, yes, right here at the Winter Garden. It's certainly been my good night theater.
Maybe it'd be mine, too. Do you think I'm eligible for Best Supporting Actor?
No question in my mind, John.
I'd like to thank all of those who voted for me. I'd like to thank those of you who didn't. The nominees for the Best Director of a Broadway play are Arvin Brown for The National Health, John Dexter for Equus, Frank Dunlop for Scapino, Ronald Ayer for London Assurance, Ethel Fagard for Swizzy Banzi is Dead and the Island, and Gene Sachs for Same Time Next Year. And the winner is John Dexter for Equus. John Dexter cannot be with us this evening as he's directing in Paris. And then it was 1971, and the hauntingly beautiful music of Follies filled the theater. And you remember that showstopper from Act Two, when Alexis Smith told us the story of Lucy and Jessie, and incidentally, won for her the Tony that year.
Here's a little story that should make you cry about two unhappy days. Let us call them Lucy X and Jessie Y, which are not their real names. Now Lucy has the purity along with the unsurety that comes with being only 21. Jessie has maturity and plenty of security. Whatever you can do with them, she's done. Given their advantages, you may ask why the two ladies have such grief. This is my belief in brief. Lucy is juicy but terribly drab. Jessie is dressy but cold as a slab. Lucy wants to be dressy, Jessie wants to be juicy. Lucy wants to be Jessie, and Jessie, Lucy, you see Lucy's a lassie you pat on the head. Jessie is classy but virtually dead. Lucy wants to be classy, Jessie wants to be lassie. If Lucy and Jessie could only combine, I could tell you someone who would finally feel just fine.
Now if you see Lucy X, you go through for Lucy X. Let her know she's better than she suspects. Now if you see Jessie Y, faded, jaded Jessie Y, tell her that she's sweeter than apple pie. Juicy Lucy, dressy Jessie, tell them that they ought to get together quick, 'cause getting it together is the whole trick, yeah!
The musical that won the Tony that year was Two Gentlemen from Verona. And I'm pleased to introduce one of the stars of that show, Mr. Clifton Davis.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Miss Smith. As everyone knows, the original Two Gentlemen of Verona was written by William Shakespeare. who also said in another context, "The play's the thing," and indeed it is. And as a Broadway sage once said, "If it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage." And sometimes it ain't on the page. So I would like to present the Fundamental Award this evening to the best play. And the nominees are Equus, written by Peter Schaffer, producer Kermit Bloom-Garden and Doris Cole Abrahams. Same time next year, written by Bernard Slade, produced by Morton Gottlieb. Seascape, written by Edward Albee, producers Richard Barr, Charles Woodward, and Clinton Wilder. Short Eyes, written by Miguel Pinheiro, produced by Joseph Papp. Sizwe Bansi is Dead and the Island, written by Athol Fugard, John Connie, and Winston Shona. Produced by Hillard Elkins, Lester Osterman Productions, Bernard Delfont, and Michael White. The National Health, written by Peter Nichols, produces The Circle in the Square. And the winner is Equus.
Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. Of the several plays I've written, Equus was the one I thought I'd written for myself. It's a very marvelous thing to discover one has written it also for several other people. No author has ever had a more sublime cast, I think, than I have had. The great Anthony Hopkins, the miraculous Peter Firth, and all my friends at the Plymouth Theatre. And no author, I'm sure, has ever had a finer, more distinguished producer than Mr. Kermit Bloom-Garden.
Doris and I are here because of Peter Schaffer. He wrote the play, and I was very fortunate that he permitted me to produce it. This is an exciting evening for me. It was a long wait. I wanted it for Peter. I wanted it for myself. I wanted it for John and David. And also, I want to say, for the people that didn't win tonight, I'd like to see at some point that we find another way to give awards for excellence in the theater without this competition. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this season the revival of Gypsy opened at the Winter Garden. Its star is the three-time Tony winner, Angela Lansbury.
I had a dream about you, baby. It's gonna come true, baby. They think that we're through, but baby, you'll be swell, you'll be great. Gonna have the whole world on a plate. Starting here, starting now. Honey, everything's coming up roses. a kiss, take a bow. Honey, everything's coming up roses. Now's your inning. Stand the world on its ear. Set it spinning. That'll be just the beginning. Cotton up, light the lights. We've got nothing to hit but the heights. I can tell, wait and see. There's the bell, follow me. And nothing's gonna stop us till we're through. Honey, everything's coming up roses and daffodils. Everything's coming up sunshine and Santa Claus. Everything's gonna be bright lights and lollipops. Everything's coming up roses for me and for you.
Georgia Irving is currently appearing on Broadway and all over town. Larry Blyden is currently appearing on Broadway in the third person singular. The next production to play The Winter Garden will be Harold Prince's Pacific Overture. Portions of this program were pre-recorded. This is Ed Hurley.
That'll be just the beginning. Curtain up, light the lights. We've got nothing to hit but the heights. We'll be square, we'll be great. I can tell, just wait. That lucky star I talk about.
The American Theater wins 1975 Tony Award. Brought to you by General Foods, makers of Sanka brand decaffeinated coffee. Proves how far you can get on good taste. It's now the third largest coffee in America.